Today, we will talk about DSPM for Purview. Many of you know that I don't like too many the slide, but to understand today DSPM, I will take a little more time to go through some concept. Okay, let's go. Remember, I have my YouTube channel. You can subscribe and give like to the videos that you enjoy, and please take time to complete the survey. I just added the survey on the chat, but I will start sharing those links during this session. Feel free to add your questions on the chat. Please, if you have any problem with the audio or with the video, please let me know. Today, the idea is talk about DSPM definition, what's mean this data security posture management, understand that how this is integrate with other elements, and let's go and start having a great conversation today. I tried to do my best trying to explain in a diagram what is DSPM, data security posture management, for Purview. Because we have the other one, DSPM for AI. I did a few months ago another session related to this topic. I will show something because DSPM for AI set some policies, some recommendations that are used on DSPM. And in the next slide, we will compare a little what is the big difference between DSPM and DSPM for AI. In a short way, in a short summary about the big deal between these two solutions that are very similar in the name, DSPM for AI is focused to understand what is happening in your environment with the different AIs. Microsoft AI, security, Microsoft 365, chat, Copilot, all of those, plus any other AI that end users are working on. Okay, let me remove myself, no problem. Okay, I hope that works. Joan, can you please confirm me if that is okay? Okay, thanks to you. Okay, and as I mentioned, DSPM for AI is focused to understand what is happening with different AIs and our information. That is the big deal in a very quick and brief summary. And DSPM, I believe that is more complex because from my side, DSPM is a kind of orchestrator. What's happened? And here I will start having this discussion. In large companies, happens that we have a team focused only on Microsoft Entra ID. We have other people focused on DLP. We have other people focused on data map. We have other people focused on information protection. Or maybe it's the same business unit, but with different groups. And happens that no one have the capability to view all the alerts, all the flags that arise on all the different technologies that we can find on Microsoft Purview and Microsoft Entra. And in that order of idea, DSPM use the capabilities of Copilot to have that visibility. In that case, we are talking about a kind of orchestrator, because what is happening today, I need to set another webinar to talk only about insider risk management. Today, I will show some little stuff related to insider risk management, but that is another topic to cover. Insider risk management take information from Microsoft Entra ID, signing a risk user and other stuff that are coming here, take information from information barriers, take information from communication compliance, and start inclusive. I don't draw here, but there is some data connectors, HR systems that can be connected to inside the risk management and identify if we have a risk with a user because is leaving the organization, resign, or some actions, or maybe the people is talking on the chat that is boring in the current job, in the current role. And inside the risk is capable to start understanding different behavior from end users and take some actions. And that information is sent to the DSPM. The same happened with DLP. We can start viewing some odd behaviors related to people removing mass label, people trying to share something, printing a big volume, and that is not the normal behavior for sensitive data. And here we can start seeing that all the component, as always I say, this is a kind of puzzle. All the puzzle, this big puzzle that is called Purview, and another big one that is Microsoft 365, have several pieces. And depend how you join these pieces, we can make synergy. We need to understand how all these tools work together. For that reason, today I will take a little more time, as I mentioned, with the slide explaining. We will go through all the interface, very quick reviewing certain information. But here we can see that finally, all these logs, all this information arrive to the DSPM for Purview, and Copilot help us to have that big overview. Identify that something is happening on Microsoft Entra, someone makes something, is in risk, the signing appear in US and then in Europe, and start having all of this. See the different behaviors, take all this information and start generating some report. We will see some of that. I was trying to generate a demo. It's a little more complicated because we have several components, but we will see how this information is shown. And inclusive, DSPM for AI, that is a past session, recommend to create some specific policies to be aware about what is happening with the different AIs. And the other big deal is Purview Data Map. In the YouTube channel, you can find another past session about Purview Data Map, inclusive on the description. You can find a GitHub page that I share where I explain how you can configure all with Data Map. But that data map for structured data is another big deal that can be under the view of data security posture management. Okay, let's go to the next slide, and I will share this this slide after I publish this session on YouTube. On the description, I will share the link to the presentation. But here we can see the big difference between DSPM and DSPM for AI. Something that happened a lot. There is a lot of people right now that are not totally clear about what's mean DSPM and what's mean DSPM for AI. As I mentioned previously, here you can read that there are several things, but DSPM for AI is focused to understand and take some action about what is happening with the AI in our Microsoft environment and connected to other AI services and our information, protected information, all of that. And DSPM, the Purview DSPM, uses the Copilot capabilities, the AI capabilities, to have this complete overview and start recommending some new DLP policies, some new insider risk management policies, and several other improvements that we can take in our tenant to uh, go forward and generate a better security baseline for the data. Okay, thanks, John, for your comments on the chat. I much appreciate that. Okay, what is DSPM? Microsoft Purview Data Security Posture Management. As I mentioned, provide a unified view about all these components that are working together using Copilot. That is a big deal. And help us to identify and recommend data classification, risk assessment, policy enforcement. Yeah, thanks, Roman. That is a kind of as a summary. Yeah, there is as I mentioned, and during the process to prepare this webinar, I saw that, and based on all my past experience, that's happened all the time that I'm working with different customers. They have a group, a team working with Microsoft Entra ID. Normally, Microsoft Entra ID is in another group, totally different, except when you are working on a small business that you have 2 or 3 people taking care of about all. But in large environments, in large companies, all of that is split, and it's more difficult to have that visibility. Insider risk management was a very good approach for that, but it's not enough. And Copilot can review all of that and help us. Okay, you need at least one Copilot for 365 assigned. We will see that I was trying to use Copilot. I have 3 or 4 different environments that I will show. Copilot is required, the Copilot 365 is required, not the security Copilot. For that reason, it doesn't fall in the famous SCUs that Renan is sharing on the chat. Nevertheless, there is some prompts that you can force to go to Security Copilot, but if you are out of Security Copilot, having at least a license of Microsoft 365 Copilot, you are able to start getting more insight. We will see that some stuff are available through the DSPM, but when we have the right license, we can get some additional prompt and some additional information. As I mentioned, from an integration overview, DSPM permit to have a unified architecture, something that permit me to understand all these components that I have on in my Microsoft 365 and generate that flow to understand, and maybe with the correlation engine, understand how all this information is generating something. Okay, I have, yes, Renan, Security Copilot, it helps, can help, but it's not required for this part. It's not mandatory. We can use all of this without Security Copilot. With Security Copilot, you can get other insight from other tools like MDE, Cloud App, and several other components that we can find in the part of Microsoft Defender. Limited is James is asking about the data source, and it's tricky the question because DSPM can use the Purview data map. In that order of idea, if we are able to configure Purview data map and using that, we can connect several other components, or the same inside the risk management, have some special connectors for some other services, we can grow in this architecture. We need to review case by case, but an Amazon Web Services and other services as Salesforce or other stuff, it can be joined. Oracle and SAP, if we use a Purview data map, but in that case, we will have other cost related to the implementation. Related to data loss prevention, this is very important. Endpoint DLP. Endpoint DLP is one of the biggest players in this one, because endpoint DLP is the one that give us the insight related to other AIs. If you are using ChatGPT, if you are using Cloud, Gemini, and several others AIs, is endpoint DLP with the component on the different browsers and the audit activities that we can set, and the configuration. We will need to review the configuration. That is very important. We will be able to start getting several information to improve our security. Information protection is another big player here, because there is several rules and policies that are related to the sensitivity labels. In that case, this recommendation is very important, a comprehensive taxonomy. You can find another past session where I am talking about sensitivity labels. And inclusive, by the way, coming several changes on sensitivity labels. Finally, when I was working on Microsoft, I discussed several times about the approach, and that approach was taken and coming soon during this year, July or August, that will be the final release for grouping. Finally, the parent labels as a concept will disappear, and we will start talking about grouping or categories. You can go to the Microsoft 365 roadmap and search for grouping, and you will see the two changes that coming soon related to that. But again, you are invited to review that past session about sensitivity labels on my YouTube channel, where you can understand a little more. Inside the risk management, I believe this is a big player changer in under the game. And again, I will need to do a webinar about this one, because inside the risk management, you set this adaptive scope. We will review that, a quick overview about that. But part of those adaptive scope are related to designing risk on Microsoft Entra. We have the capability to connect to several other technologies and third-party tools like HR connectors to understand if someone, because present or resign, is taking different actions, is having different behaviors to the previous one, or removing sensitivity labels, or sending a lot of information to a personal email. And inclusive, the same inside the risk management, connected to information barriers or communication compliance, will permit us to identify if someone is talking about fraud, data leak, money laundering, several things that are take, and in some way exists a flow that start adding different risk to the words that are used. In that case, we are talking about as well about data classifiers. You can find another session on YouTube about data classifiers, but here trainable classifier is another very important component that we can use in this process. The other thing are the roles, endpoint integration, understand how all these policies, and it's continuous monitoring what is happening. Maybe a big challenge that we have today with Purview is the reporting part. On Purview, so for that reason, some of you know me, that I built Empire, and I'm working on Empire 3 that I hope to release soon. But you know that the report on Purview are not business friendly. We have different interfaces. Inclusive, we will review quick under DSPM and DSPM for AI. We have another activity explorer with some asteroids that if you try to go through the common activity explorer, you are not able to set the same filters. We need additional insight and best practice, and holistic security posture, continuous improvement, user training, policy tips, notification, reporting, and the most important, staying update. Something that I recommend several times with several customers. Microsoft sent all the information about update to the message center, and no one's review message center. Nevertheless, on message center, there is a way that you can configure your email, inclusive your personal email, to have a weekly summary and monthly summary about the changes that come in on the different technologies. My recommendation, take a time to review that, add your email, and be aware about all the changes that come in. Increase user or I was on a couple of weeks ago. I was on Seattle in a Microsoft partner security airlift, and that is something that Microsoft needs to work and is improve the sensitive information types using the AIs. Today, I believe that one of the biggest challenge Microsoft is doing a big effort, but the 300 sensitive information types data classifier that we have available, maybe 400 if we count the trainable classifiers, is not enough. Maybe for some countries, for some regions can be almost enough, but if you go to other parts around the globe, you will be in touch that that is not enough, because several different sensitive information types are not related. Create new with the custom with the current sensitive information types and the current trainable classifier. Under my experience, you are not able to cover more than 20% of the information asset in an organization. There is another 80% of information asset that needs to be built, that needs to be created through trainable classifier, fingerprint, and several others. But maybe something like Copilot Insight or some AI Insight permit us to go more quick in that way. And let's go to the demo. That is the most important, I believe. Let me start. This is the one. This is a new tenant. I just created this new tenant on CDX. The partners have access to CDX. And what's happened? When you have a new tenant and we go to solutions, I am in the Purview portal, purview.microsoft.com. we can find data security posture management. By default, it's not enabled, and we need to enable the service. Enable the service can take 24 hours to 48 hours to be enabled. We will see here is taking time. We will see a turn on analytics. For that reason, first recommendation, if you are not going yet to this interface, enable this. Doesn't make anything in your environment. Doesn't generate any impact. It is only start getting those analytics. As I mentioned, this one take information from data loss prevention, insider risk management, information protection. But turning on this can take around 24 hours to 88 hours, 48 hours to enable. And here we will start viewing some information. Nevertheless, let me jump to another. We will see that if I try to use Copilot in this environment, I am not able. Copilot is working under the hood to generate some recommendations and some information. Nevertheless, if I want to use prompts to facilitate my work here, I need Microsoft 365 Copilot. If I don't have Microsoft 365 Copilot, at least all the prompts are not enabled. Let's go to the different components. Let me jump to another tenant. Okay, this one. In this one, I was doing some stuff previously. Let me refresh. And let's go forward on this. Please feel free to share any question, comment, that. Okay, when I go to data security posture management, I can find here on solutions. I am not aware, James, about the cost yet, but I understand that it's around $40 the Copilot. I will show. I have an environment that have only 5 license available, and that is enough to enable all this part. Having one license can be enough to start working. But yes, there is a cost related, at least, again, at least to start using and triggering the different prompts from Copilot. Nevertheless, the rest of report will be available no matter if you have the Copilot license or not. That is very important. Okay, to start working and getting some information, there is some options that needs to be turning on, and those one can take a little more time. But let's go step by step. Let's go to DSPM for AI. As I mentioned previously, I have a previous session about the DSPM for AI where I explained some of these. But here we can start viewing several information related to what is happening with the data. But the most important point, I will not go in deep, is go to the recommendations, and start applying the different policies that are recommended from the DSPM for AI. When you create the policies that come in from the DSPM, and we will see the same under insider risk management and others, we will see that some policies are created automatically here. And in general, all these policies are in simulation. Doesn't take any action. You can review the policies. Let me select this one that is in on. We can review the policies, but in general, having the policies, you have the logs, and the logs are used to generate the data. You can see devices, the endpoint DLP part is one of the most important point here because it's the way that we have to identify what is happening on the endpoint devices. For all the rest, when you are working inside of Microsoft 365 through SharePoint, OneDrive, Exchange, we have control for that information. But when the user is working in their device, downloading data, accessing to other AIs, and doing other actions, the only way to capture those actions is through endpoint DLP. For that reason, all the stuff that we are doing today are related to have Microsoft 365 E5 or at least Microsoft 365 E3 plus Microsoft 365 E5 compliance to start having all this protection. And here we can see the rule that was created. We have a lot of sensitive information types that was added automatically related to PII information, and we are only auditing activities related to certain domains or certain data. For that reason, to go forward with DSPM and DSPM for AI, we need to be aware. I don't know what is appearing and what is sharing on the chat. You have reached the recording limit for your plan. That's on my side. I am not clear if I'm. I don't know if you can on or someone is using an AI about to record. Okay. No. On my case, I believe that I'm more. Yeah. That I was viewing. Hi, Zach. Well, let's go to see some specific integrations. The first thing to start working with DSPM, we will go to DSPM, but first of all, we need to understand the different integration. The first one under insider risk management, there is several steps. Nevertheless, if you start from scratch on the DSPM, you will start viewing several recommendations, and some of those recommendations are related to what I'm showing right now, but normally with links to other Microsoft public page that show a lot of other links. But in general is enable the data analytics, identify all the shared user risk details, the integration with Microsoft Teams. As I mentioned, I will set another session to talk only about insider risk management, but the policies indicator that we have on insider risk management, it can be a good insight for DSPM. There is a lot of things that need to be said, but after that, and going to the other one that is data loss prevention. Remember, I am in the Purview portal under settings. I am viewing the specific settings for the different Purview components. Here, there is a couple of things that are important. Is always audit file activities for devices. This one can be very helpful. The other one is this one, advanced classification, scanning, and protection. Unfortunately, this doesn't replace, for the old people that were working on Microsoft 365, the old Windows information protection that I am still waiting for the new version of that. This one permit to take some sensitive information type and send to the cloud to validate OCR or validate these premium sensitive information types that are not downloaded locally, like full name, address, and several others. That is used for that. And the other one is here under browser and domain and restriction. Sensitive service domain groups. This was added a few time ago, but here we have a list that Microsoft is generating about the different technologies, the different AIs that was Microsoft is aware that can use it for the data. Nevertheless, if you know that exists other, you can create another sensitive service domain for this action. Uh, Joshua is asking that the DSPM for AI not record correctly. Yes, the DSPM for AI, if you're not using endpoint DLP, you will lose information about someone using Gemini or Cloud or other AIs, DeepSeek. Uh, in some cases, ChatGPT have an enterprise account that can be connected, or you can use your Microsoft 365 credentials, and that is getting. But if you are using by your own, and if you're not using endpoint DLP, you will not be able. We will back to data loss prevention, but you will see that all the policies that are recommend, or several policies that are recommend from the DSPM for AI to start capturing the data are related to endpoint DLP. DSPM setting checklist wizard. Uh, uh, it's not a joke. I am using a lot ChatGPT, and if you are taking care about the way that you are getting the data, you can ask to ChatGPT, and inclusive with other AIs. My recommendation is start the prompt saying, I need information only from the past 6 months, 12 months. That reduce a lot the noise for all information. Normally, I use that. And if you're clear to say, okay, I know that DSPM work with insider risk management, work with information barrier, with communication compliance, and blah, 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 you can get a very near list related to that. If I have time, I can make maybe the exercise and share the results after this webinar. Okay, this data loss prevention and insider risk management are the most important, at least starting this integration. And backing back to the question about endpoint DLP, this is almost a new, and almost all the rules that was created automatically was created by using the recommendation by the same tool, and you can see that all of this is related to endpoint. There is other related to the cloud, but endpoint is a core part to get information from the different AIs. In the case of insider risk management, we can use the recommendation part, or inclusive under the policies. Microsoft makes some changes and permit to create some quick policies, and that can be very helpful. In that case, when I go to, again, I can use recommendations. Some cases when you're starting from scratch, you will not see too many recommendations. You can start using these ones that come in by default, or under policies. This was changed only time ago. We have this quick policy. And with quick policy, we have some stuff that we can do very quick to start configuring and getting the information from our site. I have my insider risk management. I have my DLP. I need to set some policies on communication compliance. In this case, I don't have rules, at least in this one, to, I have this one. For this one was created automatically. I get another recommendation from DSPM, and this one was created automatically related to understand an unethical behavior in Copilot. And that is in general. Let's go back to DSPM. And now in DSPM, I can start viewing some information. Analytics report about the unprotected asset, SharePoint, and several other information. This report, as I mentioned, is an activity explorer with some asteroids. The same happened on no, isn't on the DSPM for AI. My bad. The DSPM for AI. Let me duplicate this one. Is the one that have the activity explorer. We were discussing a couple of weeks ago with the product group, because something that is not available yet. Remember, this DSPM is on preview. This DSPM is on preview. The report only shows general information. You cannot do double click. You cannot go more in deep. You have only this side pane with general information. But if you need to view the report, you need to go to DLP, information compliance, communication compliance, any tool that have access to Activity Explorer to generate the same report. Unfortunately, that is something that we were asking to the product group. I don't want to jump from here to another console to have the details. I want to have the details all in one console. That is something that today, to show to some customers, it can be a pain and can be a headache, because the customer will say, okay, but because you are here and you said that you have 7 unprotected assets, why I need to go to another console to get the same report? Unfortunately, today is still in this way. We can see the report, but there is no more details. Recommendations, here we will go more in deep, and we will start jumping to the other consoles to show what is happening. Okay, I remember in this one, I don't have the exercise. Give me a moment. Okay, here, this is another tenant. I don't have Copilot, and you can see that the prompt is disabled. But if I go to recommendations, I can see that in this case, I was playing with endpoint DLP with some sensitive information types that was not protected, and several other recommendations. Okay, now disappear. It's the last 30 days. My bad. Let me see in the other one that they have open here. We was able to see that several policies was recommended to apply for endpoint DLP related to print data and managed data. Okay, let me jump to that another one. Okay, in this one, you can see that I have 5 Microsoft 365 Copilot. I have my, and I am able to start using the prompt to get some information. That's me. And backing back to one of the questions. Not necessarily I need to have, if we are 1,000 users, I need 1,000 license. Having a couple of license in your environment, inclusive, my user that is connected here doesn't have a license assigned, it's possible to start using this prompt. Yeah, James, the licensing part is a very headache. I will avoid to use other words, but I believe that several of us, we are thinking in other words related to the licensing. Maybe you are aware, I was talking with Aaron a couple of weeks ago. We have always M365 maps, and that was updated, and the license for AI was added to here. Aaron is still working on Microsoft, and he will send some updates. You can find him on LinkedIn as well. And here's is doing a lot of effort to try to explain all the stuff related to license, and he give some additional stuff here. I was sending some insight and some comment, but he's doing a great job in that point. I want to back in this case, Copilot, as I mentioned, in this case, permit me to interact, and I want to prioritize the alerts, and I can start playing with Copilot. This is not the security Copilot. It's not the icon of security Copilot. This is the icon of Microsoft 365 Copilot that can help me under DSPM to understand the different alerts that are in place, identify data leaks, show me some risk, and help me to take some actions. Here, and we can get more details on DSPM for AI, I can see the different interactions with the different AIs. For that reason, when I was showing one of the initial diagram that all of this is totally integrated. Take time. I will try to generate that list of checklist and go to, I will inform on LinkedIn if you're following me or we are in contact on LinkedIn. I will share soon, after we finish this one, this recorded session. I will share the presentation, and I believe that I will not take too many time to generate that checklist, and I will add on the description. Or if you're subscribed to my channel, you will be advised at the moment you send a notification to your cell phone when my record session is published. Backing back to data security posture management, and here, no, sorry, where DSPM for AI. Here on DSPM for AI, I can see the different sensitive interaction per AI. And here we can see, at least in this environment, the only use is Microsoft Copilot and Security Copilot. Nevertheless, if you have the endpoint DLP on place, Here you will see that appear Cloud, Gemini, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and several other AIs that normally I use it to make different actions related to the data and 365. Here we can see, and okay, we need to get started. Here you can see one of the point that I was trying to explain at the beginning. Take time, all of this. You need to generate a lot of different policies. You need to be aware that policies are created under insider risk management. Other policies are created under communication compliance. Other policies are created under DLP for Teams, for Exchange, for endpoint DLP. And in this case, if I want to control unethical behavior, that means someone talking about money laundering or fraud or managed stock and is inclusive, is working with the AI to say, okay, how I can remove this protection, how I can get this information, we need to use communication compliance to get that kind of information. Almost at least on my experience, almost all the policies that you start creating here can take around 24 hours to 88 hours to be applied. In this case, I am applying this one. And here we have another extend inside. When we extend inside, here you can see the policies that are created. We have a policy for insider risk management, another policy for DLP, another policy to identify sensitive information types based to the AI side. And here coming again, take care because these work with endpoint DLP, and endpoint DLP today only support and have add-ons for Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. If your customers or if in your organization are using, I don't know, Opera or other third-party browsers, uh, you will not be able to get all that information because the endpoint DLP add-in for browser is supported in on Edge is embed, but for Chrome, Firefox, Safari, you need to install something. Well, someone was asking, Fatima was asking on the Q&A about does Copilot needs to be enabled to order to or utilize DSPM? No, as we was discussing, it's not needed to have Copilot. Nevertheless, have Copilot permit to interact more in a more easy way with DSPM to get some information. And again, you can come in here, create the policies. The policies are created in simulation mode. You can go review, improve, identify some small groups. Maybe if you don't want to apply to all the people. Fatima is asking, yes, Fatima, I have a channel. I will share the data right now on the chat. I have a YouTube channel. Well, you can find all this recorded session and previous recorded sessions. And please, if you take 2 minutes of your time to complete the survey after this presentation, that is very helpful for me. Okay. Some additional policies was created. Let's go again. Solutions inside the risk management. Okay. Here we can see that the different DSPM for AI detect risk AI usage. DSPM is very simple to identify the specific rules that was created by the DSPM and the DSPM for AI. The same happen if we come in here to communication compliance. Here we can see these ones are created automatically. This is the last one that is in process to be activating. And if we go back to data loss prevention and we go to policies, well, this is another environment when we have several others, and I believe that I don't create in this one yet. No, I don't create in this one yet. I have in the previous one. Let me go back to this one. Solutions, data loss prevention, policies. Here we can see these ones: adaptive protection policy for Teams and Exchange DLP, adaptive protection policy. That's normally coming from inside the risk management. Microsoft AI Hub, DSPM for AI was renamed on past November. Previously to that was called AI Hub. But in that rename, they make some changes, additional improvement, Copilot was added, but we will still see that this name, Microsoft AI. The Microsoft AI Hub is the DSPM for AI. Questions, comment until this point? Okay, let's continue. Looking back to the data security posture management, we can have a first overview about some risk and recommendations to create policies. We can see the report. We saw that the report that we will go to there are not the best one. We need to go to information protection or data loss prevention to open Activity Explorer and create the report if we want to have the details. If not, this is only a general overview. Something that can be interesting in this one is the comparison about what is happening with the labels, how we are applying labels. The percentage of the asset protected with sensitivity labels is only 10%, and 30 days ago was 10.75. That means we are going down in this environment protecting the data. You can use this information to see more details. The same happened in this one is a very simple comparison about the past 30 days. I failed with the recommendations in this case, but when we go to the recommendations and when we apply the recommendations, we will see that when we have a recommendation, show a button that permit me to apply. Let me see if in one of all my environment I have something. My apologies. So that I was not taking care. That was just 30 days ago. The recommendation was showing yesterday, but on each of these ones, every time that we have a recommendation, we will see a button that permit to create a DLP policy in some cases, or an insider risk management policy, or both. If we have something that is happening in the backend and we get a recommendation from DSPM, we will able to see a button that say create policy, and we will see in the side pane, I unfortunately I failed on that. We will see that we are able to create the policy that is recommended on Microsoft Purview DLP or insider risk management. And that is in general, and let me back to the diagram. DSPM as a tool is not a big tool with several additional components. As I was trying to say it at the beginning of this presentation, DSPM is a kind of orchestrator that permit to get information from the different Purview component and show me in an easy way to understand what is happening on my organization. Previously, from DLP and information protection, we jump to insider risk management. Insider risk management have adaptive scope that can be set for attribute, for different things, but one of the most important is the adaptive scope that are related to Microsoft Entra, because Microsoft Entra can inform to insider risk management that there exists some users, the signing for some users are in risk, and that information is sent to here. Information barriers, communication compliance are other two components that make insider risk management more powerful related to get information from different sources. And finally, as I mentioned at the beginning, Copilot permits to have that wide overview about the different flags, the different alerts. In our daily work with customers or in our own organization, normally we don't take the time, or we don't have the time, or we are not able to see all the report, all the alerts at the same time. We can see that we have some number of alert on Entra, we have some number of alert on DLP, but the alert on DLP can be related to Exchange, to Teams. Copilot have the capability to identify if the different alerts that I have in the different Purview tools are related to the same user or are related to some change on the behavior inside the organization because more people is downloading data or more people is installing certain application. And with all of that, we will be able to have some recommendations from DSPM to improve that security. If you're not seeing nothing, like in this, unfortunately, well, here I have a recommendation, but if you're not seeing more information, happens two things. Or you are not doing anything. That means I don't have any policy. The integration is not ready. I don't have policies on insider risk management. I don't have enough policies on DLP. I am blind. Or I am doing my work fine. But here I have one of the recommendations, as I mentioned, when we have the recommendations. Here I can see that I need to set up the adaptive protection. In this case, I will have Microsoft Entra conditional access. I will have retention labels. You can see that inside the risk management, I will create policies. There is several things that will be created at the moment to press that button. Nevertheless, I will need to go to each of the tools to review how the rule was created. If I need to make any change, I can do that change. It's not a problem. That permit to reduce the scope or because by default it's all the organization. And I believe that with that, we are covering almost all the topics related to DSPM. DSPM, here you can see I press this, and now I need to wait until 48 hours. And if I go to Microsoft Entra, if I go to inside the risk management, if I go to DLP, I will start seeing that several new policies and rules was created, and DSPM will start using that information to show me what is happening on my environment. Thanks for your feedback. Please, 2 minutes take to complete the survey. Much appreciated for all the people that connected today. See people that normally I am talking with you. Yes, let's James, previous to finish this one, James is asking when I turning on the adaptive protection, and this is one of the new environment. We will see that the policies are created in simulation mode, or if it's turning on, there is a policy that is created turning on. All the actions are related to audit only. In that case, we are not affecting any related to the current job, the business core. You will not affect until you go and make some changes on the policies. No, it's not ready. Take 48 hours. I can go later here, but you will start seeing recommendations. Start creating the policies, and the other one on under DSPM for AI. I recommend that to the same on the previous, but remember that on DSPM for AI we have this one, data assessment, that permit me to identify oversharing on my environment. And the other recommendation under the DLP, on DLP, remember that today you can create a specific DLP policy for Copilot to prevent Copilot access certain kind of data. Feel free to start reviewing. I will share today or tomorrow the next date on March. I will start talking about data lifecycle and record management. I know that Joan liked that topic. And I have inclusive the other topics for April. I will working with someone for that one, but we will talk about keys. But right now, the next one will be related to data lifecycle management and record management. Thanks for joining today. I much appreciate your participations, and feel free to contact me or follow me on my networks. Have a great day, and I hope that you enjoy this webinar. Have a good one. Bye-bye.